Hello, I'm on episode number 208 of the TEW 208 Challenge Run. We are here for Friday Night SmackDown for week 4 of December 2021, and it is the final episode of SmackDown of the year 2021. It is the go-home show for the Absolute Zero pay-per-view this Sunday, and yeah, we've got quite a stacked lineup for that show. WWE Championship on the line, Roman Reigns and Johnny Gargano. Dolph Ziggler vs Bobby Roode US title. Sasha Banks vs Tegan Nox, SmackDown Women's title, and a whole lot more. Without any further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We open up with Adam Pearce and RJ City in the ring with a table, and he's like, "Welcome everybody," and then RJ's like, No, let me say it. He's like, "Fine." He's like, "Welcome." Oh, what's going on here? "Welcome everybody to Friday Night SmackDown," and he gets the big pop. Yeah. Because we're here with a contract signing for the United States Championship match. Let's bring out the challenger first. Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode makes his entrance. He doesn't do the full entrance. His music hits and he just storms out in a suit and he sits down, like, signs. He's like, "Come on, get Ziggler out here. And now the champion, the man who does not work for the WWE at this current moment in time, Mr. Dolph Ziggler. And Ziggler comes out. And he's like, he sits down, he's like, "Hey Bob, long time no see." He's like, "Don't you hey Bob me. You have stolen that from us and from me. And I'm going to take it back off you this Sunday at Absolute Zero." So he's like, "Whoa, chill, Bob. What's up? What's all the huckus?" Well, you see, and Roode's like, "Well, you're a bit silly coming out here without security even when I beat your ass, if you even make it this Sunday." And Ziggler's like, "Yeah, that's not happening." He's like, "As somebody who's not contracted to WWE at this current moment in time, you can't put your hands on me outside of a match capacity, can you, Roode? So, first of all, when I sign this, have to sign off that any injuries or whatever that may be sustained to me at Absolute Zero are not liability of the WWE and that I can't sue, which I probably won't get injured because I'm against you, Bobby, and you're not really, that kind of guy. But here's the thing, Roode. I have finally won this. I may not be through methods that you may agree with, but I didn't break any rules and I'm the champion. And if you didn't stick your nose where it wasn't wanted, maybe I'd have lost to Drew Gulak, because Drew Gulak's a hell of a lot better competitor than you are. So, you've only got yourself to blame for this championship not being in your possession right now. But I will give you the privilege. I will show up to the pay-per-view and defend my championship like an honourable champion, despite not being, contractually obligated to, because I don't even work for this company anymore because you fired me at SummerSlam. So, I'll sign this, and then that's it. No more until no more touching until Absolute Zero. And Ziggler touches it. He signs it, and he's like, "Yeah, there we go. We're done." And Roode's like, No, Ziggler, don't you leave. I may not be able to hit you, but I sure can smack you with the truth. And that is this, that your luck has run out. Your entire career, you've been that guy that could never quite get it. Could you, Dolph? Even when you were the World Heavyweight Champion, you lost your first one in about 10 minutes. And then you cashed in Money in the Bank. Everyone remembers Ziggler cashing in Money in the Bank to become the guy, right? Only for you to lose it a couple of weeks later because you couldn't maintain, because you got concussed, Dolph. You are the perennial ball dropper. And that championship is a big shiny ball that you're going to drop to me, and I'm going to pick it up at the pay-per-view, and then once that title's off you, we will never have to see you again, Dolph, and that's going to be such a sweet day. And Ziggler's like, "Okay, Bobby, well, that's all you've got, then I've got a plane to catch, so bye." And Roode's like, "I can't touch him." And then RJ's like, "Come on, Bobby, let's get you out of the ring." And then bang, he takes his frustrations out on RJ City instead of Dolph Ziggler. Gives him a glorious DDT instead. And he's like, "This will be you on Sunday, Ziggler." And Dolph's like, "Whatever, big man." 83 opening match. Sasha takes on Kylie Rae. I don't think I've ever actually done this match, to be honest. But Sasha's fever dream from last week is over. She's no longer seeing ghosts of her past, present, and future, but she's beating Kylie Rae in 13.29 of a bank statement. 90 for Sasha, 60 for Kylie. Pretty fucking good match, that is. And after the match, Sasha leaves the bank statement locked in. She doesn't let go of the hold. When Tegan comes rushing, she's like, no. You stand there or I'll break her neck. This is what we're going to do. You're going to listen to me, girl. Because I'm tired of you thinking that you have the upper hand here. Because you're right. You may be in my head. I will admit that. You are living in my head rent-free. But don't for 1 second think that you're in control here, Tegan. Because at the end of the day, you're just a rookie. And you've pissed off the wrong queen, okay? Because once I realise that you've made me crazy, I can be the craziest bitch on this planet. And, yeah, don't think that your friend's in trouble here, Tegan, because you're not the only one with friends, darling. And then Mickey, Indy, and Dana, they walked out during Sasha's promo. Like, we had the camera on Sasha. So then when the camera counts back to Tegan, you just see them behind her. Like, they'd walked out when Sasha was talking. And then bang, they ambush Tegan, beat her up around ringside, throw her into the ring, and Sasha locks her into the bank statement as well. Stands tall over both Smile and Shine girls with the title held high. Sasha snapped. She's not playing around anymore. Tegan has really lived in her head rent-free recently. And she vows to end that this Sunday. Kayla, his interview is, ladies and gentlemen, my guest, Mustafa Ali in the New America. And he's like, Mustafa Ali, tonight, Babatunde and Yujiro go 2-on-2 with the Rock and Roll Express before your matches with Sami Zayn and Subculture at the pay-per-view. So, and then Ali takes the mic, he's like, yeah, get out of here, Kayla, I don't need you anymore. It's like, so this is what it's come to, hey? Andrews and Webster stuck their nose where it wasn't needed, because they were just a pawn for me to deliver my message to Sami, but they decided that that wasn't good enough, and they had to try and stick it to the man. In this case, I'm the man, because I guess I'm viewed as the villain here, so Babatunde and Yujiro will have to silence them at the Absolute Zero kickoff show. Which brings us to the Rock and Roll Express. What are they even doing here? Like, and this is one of those promos where, like, Ali picks up the mic and he's walking through the hallways towards the ring ahead of the match. It's like, what are they even doing here? They encapsulate everything wrong with this country. Never knowing when to let go. Because you're about, 60 years old each, and you're still addicted to the pop from the crowd because, oh, we remember them. Nostalgia is the biggest, most addictive drug in America. Which is why people like us fail to make an impact, because back in their day, they never had to deal with people that look like Mustafa Ali. You never had to deal with people that look like Yujiro Kushida or Babatunde Ayagbasi, or even Mia Yim. Or even Sami Zayn. See, Sami? Everything that I'm preaching here, every single word that leaves my lips, when I describe myself, also describes you. Which is why, when I beat you on Sunday, and you join the message, you will see firsthand that I'm right. And that these gripes, they're beyond good and evil, and ooh, the crowd's booing this one, the crowd's cheering this one. This is morality on the line, Sami. And you can either suck it up, admit that I'm right, and be on the right side of history, or you can continue to deny my message and rebel against my new America. And see when that gets you, because it probably won't end too well. Puts the mic down, and then the music hits and they walk out. Babatunde and Kushida versus Rock and Roll. How somehow gets a 62. I was expecting like a 40 for this, but the New America win, obviously. They beat Babatunde, hits both of a double choke slam and pins him. Actually, no, he doesn't do that. And you'll figure out why later on. But Babatunde gets the pin. I guess just on one of them. 74 for Kushida, 52 for Babatunde, 29 for Gibson, 28 for Morton. And New America stand tall heading into this Sunday where Ali will face Sami and these two will face Andrews and Webster. We then get a quick backstage segment, Kairi and Io celebrating their win last week and how they're the number 1 contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championships, and how Shotzi and Ember are like, congrats girls, like, we're not going to sit here and be like, oh, you suck, because you do deserve this, you're possibly the greatest women's tag team in the company today. But that's why we've got to run through you, I'm afraid, because we hold the belt, so we should be considered the greatest women's tag team in the company. But I guess until we beat Kairi and Io, we won't be. So, this Sunday, Io, Kairi, sorry in advance, but we're keeping hold of these belts for a long time. And Io's like, well, last December, I became Io 2 belts. Me and Kairi won the tag titles. We're not afraid to do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, Elias. Elias is on the show this week because he actually got a popularity gain that he wasn't supposed to get because he beat Buddy Murphy last week. Because Murphy got injured. And the game was like, oh yeah, Elias beat Murphy, so he's going to get like 5 popularity and take 5 off Murphy. So, we're going to follow up with him. He's like, I've only got one question for you tonight. Whose year is 2022? Obviously, he's waiting for people to say Elias, but they don't. They give him a mixture of different names. They're like, Gargano, Riddle, Andrade, Big E. He's like, interesting. Because last week I thought Elias won that Miracle on 34th Street fight against Buddy Murphy, but none of you were saying Elias. None of you, you're still not on board with my preaching, because you just see me as I'm a musician, but I'm multi-talented, and I proved last week that I'm not to mess around in this ring. And this is my song. Song of the year. The Ballad of Elias. And Elias is 2022. And he begins singing when the lights go out. And new unfamiliar music hits. Well, unfamiliar in this world, but it's what he's using in real life now. The new Damian Priest theme song. And he comes out. He's making his return from his broken ankle that he suffered at No Mercy. And he gets in Elias' face like, you didn't earn that win last week, Elias, did you? He's like, I fucking damn sure did. He's like, well, me and Buddy, we 2 peas in a pod because he broke his leg and I broke my ankle, but I'm back now. So, you injured my friend and I don't like when people injure my friends. Bang, big kick. And the match starts, Elias versus Damian Priest. And that match gets a 65 because there's no storyline, it's really short, and lack of psychology apparently. But Priest beats... Wait. Lack of psychology. It dragged in a 5-minute match? Excuse me? I'm going to have to look at the popularities here because this is fucking ridiculous. Not popularities, the psychology. Because this is fucking ridiculous. Lack of psychology. 5 minutes this goes. Elias versus Damian Priest. Damian Priest wins with the Reckoning. They both get 83s individually because they've got great chemistry. 65. I was originally going to hold off on Priest's return until the Royal Rumble. But Murphy going down meant that I brought him back earlier. So he's here, and he's just avenged Buddy Murphy's defeat. He's back. He's got that new theme song. He's got that whole his inner Damien thing. But we didn't really see much of that tonight because he just beat Elias. 54, Angle with Braun Breaker. He's still coming to SmackDown, but he's still got that hernia. So he's not here yet. But we're hyping him up. He's coming. You want a friend, go get a dog. Or that shit. Who. We then get a sit-down interview with Pat McAfee and Bianca Belair, and he's reflecting on Bianca's 2021. He's like, Bianca, what a year you had. You won the Women's Royal Rumble match. You headlined WrestleMania. You became the SmackDown Women's Champion. You teamed with KSI at SummerSlam. You were the captain of Team SmackDown at Survivor Series. What's 2022 looking like for Bianca? And she's like, well, why stop there? Why don't we kick off 2022 the exact same way that 2021 kicked off? for Bianca Belair. And that is with a Royal Rumble win, Pat, because, girl, we're a month away from the Royal Rumble on the road to WrestleMania 38 kicking off, and I'd love to get back there and headline that show again. So, you're hearing it first. The first confirmed participant for the 2022 Women's Royal Rumble match. I'm going back to back. So Bianca's got her eyes on back-to-back Rumble wins, and she's announcing that she is the first woman to declare herself for the 2022 Royal Rumble. 80? Nice! Andrade goes in there and has a quick little banger with Mansoor. In 6:37, he beats him with a hammerlock DDT. 90 for Andrade, 48 for Manny. And after the match, Zelina gets the mic and gasses Andrade up. She's like, see, me and Andrade are focused. We sort of were lost for a while. We were just on SmackDown. We could have blamed the show. We could have blamed Adam Pearce, but we really had to look at ourselves. And we've got Andrade back on winning ways. I was on winning ways before I shattered my knee. So for now, all I'm going to sit on the sidelines and take Andrade to the top where he deserves to be. And anybody on SmackDown needs to be fearful because El Idolo is... Then the lights go out.
Lights are on it. You need to get the bad boy stuff out.
Aleister Black is in the ring when the lights come back on. And the crowd's popping because they haven't seen this man since SummerSlam. And Andrade turns around, bang! Drop with a black mask that he sells like death. And Zelina sort of looks at Aleister Black like, what the fuck, bro? And he just gives a smile at Andrade, who's down on the floor. And sits down as his music plays and the lights go off. They don't go off, they dim. Like he gets the spotlight like he normally gets. And Aleister has made his big return on the final SmackDown of 2021. Another thing that got fucked up by Murphy's injury. Because the original plan was to bring Black back. Because the whole thing was he needs to go back to the beginning to start again. After the Purge stuff. Which is why, if you played the video backwards, which nobody probably did, that's what he said in the vignettes where it all sounded like backward speech. He said, I must return to the beginning to start again. So he was going to feud with Buddy Murphy, and it was going to be this whole thing, and they were going to have a best of 5. But Murphy went out, which is fine, because it now looks like this was the plan the whole time, because Andrade was his first opponent in NXT. Andrade was the guy he beat for the NXT title. It doesn't go back any more to the beginning for Aleister Black than Andrade. So this is the feud we're running with. Black and Andrade. And Aleister is going to be more of a tweener, I guess, going forward. Don't really want to assign him to a babyface or a heel role, but he's just going to be a cool dude who feuds with people and kicks people in the head. 75 rated match. Kevin Owens goes 1-on-1 with Dominic Mysterio. And Dominic actually beats him in 7:41 with a roll-up, following a botched interference by AJ Styles. 82 for Kevin Owens and a 62 for Dominic. So AJ and Omos were ringside with Bivens watching Kev. Ray was with Dom. Obviously they'd be fighting, AJ would be fighting Ray on the outside, and then he'd accidentally hit Owens. Boom, roll up, Dominic wins. Which leads, of course, to AJ and Kevin Owens getting into an argument in the ring. And Bivens is like, whoa, lads, chill. When bang, dropkick from behind to Ray. By Ray. Takes both men down. They both hang on the second rope in position for a 619. And the crowds go mental like, holy shit, double 619. Ray and Dominic bounce off the other ropes. But when they come back, bang, they're met both in the clutches of Omos. He's got both their necks in his hands. And he gives a double choke slam to them. Boom. Which is why Babatunde didn't use that to win the match, because I knew Omos was doing this. And he slams them and he saves the day. And he pulls AJ and Kev back to their feet and he's like, no! And they're like, well, if the big man says no, I guess no. 81 rated main event. The tag match we announced last week, Big E and Dijakovic against Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu. And Jimmy and Jacob win. They beat Big E and Dijakovic. Jacob Fatu pins Dijakovic with the Samoan drop. It's 82 for Fatu, 70 for Jimmy, 80 for Dijakovic, and 88 for E. So big main event, and the Bloodline stand tall, and then on the ramp they're going to leave like, "We the one, Zeus." That's when Roman Reigns' music hits for the contract signing, because him and Gargano are also having a contract signing. We come back, Roman's of course at the head of the table, Pierce and RJ are at the side. Then Gargano comes out with Candice, and Roman's like, "Before you sign this contract," he's like, "I really want you to listen to what I'm saying to you. Johnny, this match doesn't have to happen. Johnny, you could be the smart man here. You could refuse to sign this contract. I won't hold it against you. I completely get it. But you could not sign this contract. You could walk to the back and fall in line, because I'm the tribal chief and I'm not going to lose this championship to somebody like you. Because, let's get this real, Johnny. You're not going to beat me. I've smashed everybody in my path, and that doesn't stop with Johnny Gargano. It stops when I say it stops. And it ain't stopping at absolute zero, Johnny, let me tell you that. So it's up to you. You can either sign away your livelihood, or you can be the smart man and walk away now." And Johnny just laughs. He's like, "Figures. I figured this would be the approach you'd take, Roman. You'd look at me, you'd look at Johnny wrestling, and you wouldn't see somebody that's capable of dethroning the mighty tribal chief. But let's get this straight. When I first came into this company, I wasn't even seen as somebody who could make it to WWE. I was an enhancement talent in NXT. And it was these people who chanted Johnny Wrestling so freaking loud that I ended up getting an NXT contract out of it. It's these people who chanted Johnny Wrestling so loud during the Cruiserweight Classic with me, my match with Tommaso Ciampa, that got us a gig on NXT's that tag team. It was these people chanting DIY, DIY, that got us the NXT Tag Team Championships. It was these people still chanting Johnny Wrestling on my rise after I came up so short to getting the NXT Championship, and they were there by my side when I finally reached the mountaintop of NXT. Never once have I doubted myself since, because these people drive me, Roman. And these people are going to be at absolute zero. And sure, I may have lost my way along the way, but one thing remains the same. And that is that Johnny Wrestling's heart beats louder, beats faster, and beats stronger than anybody else. And you may look at me as just a little guy, but I look at you, and I look at a man that I know I can beat, because I've been told no my entire life. But that hasn't stopped me from getting to where I am, and this, on the very last day of the year 2021, Johnny Wrestling reaches the greatest mountaintop when he becomes WWE Champion. Mic drop. Boom. And Roman's like, "What the fuck, bruh?" Tips the table over. He goes for a Superman punch. Dog's barking. He goes for the Superman punch. Johnny ducks it, and he locks Roman in the Gargano escape. And we get the visual of Roman submitting before he gets pulled away. And then the commentator's like, "Oh my god, Maggie, he does that this Sunday, making another new champion." And then Roman pulls the belt away, and he's like, "You all got lucky, punk, you got lucky." 88, that's pretty good. Better than Raw, that's for sure. Well, matters more on the 88, though, is what you thought of the show. So let me know what you thought in the comments below, and that is it for weekly television of 2021. Next time will be episode 209, which will be the high voltage pay-per-view for Raw. See you then.